Good morning. This is Birdie, the recycled hippie chick. I'm coming to you from one of my customers' homes. About to drip. Hey, I was just trimming, doing some little maintenance while they're out of town and watering, and I noticed maybe I could show you guys something that I'm doing. I'm working on some Shasta daisies right now, and I wanted to show you how to trim them back. My homeowner doesn't trim them back properly. She likes to get out here and piddle, but she doesn't always trim them back properly. So I kind of wanted to show you guys, maybe you have some, and it would be a tip for you onto how to trim your Shasta daisies. I'm going to flip this around and I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. I'm sorry, I've already done half of them, but I want you to see how she just cuts the bloom off to deadhead. Sometimes you can look down at the stem and you'll see another one ready to shoot up to send off another bloom, and that's where you should cut it. But these don't have one. So then I noticed down below is all this green coming up, this new growth, leaves. You can see where they're really light green because these taller ones have been overshadowing the new. So I wanted to show you how to go down and look. You can see down in here where the big stalk goes, and then the new little bitty tender leaves are coming up. If you'll just go clear down, I'm not sure I can do this very well. If you'll go clear down and cut that big one off, because you know what's happening is they are sucking all the nutrients and the life and not allowing these little ones to, number one, get light or come back up. And if you'll cut them all off like that, you'll allow those new ones. See down in here where there's a, can you see it? There's a big fat one down there. You cut all those fat ones off. Okay, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to cut those off real quick and then show you the new that's left over. Kind of hard to do this one-handed, but I just thought maybe you guys would want this little tip to help your Shasta daisies bloom more often. You get those off of there, and now these new ones can come up and will probably bloom again this season. Now this is a smaller version. I'm going to go over and show you the taller version, and maybe it's got some blooms on the tall stems. I can show you where it's going to regenerate. This right here is a taller version. So let's go look. I can see some of them that are going to have some new blooms come up. And let me show you where you can get a new head of blooms on here before the season's over. It's September right now, early September, and we can fill this thing with blooms one more time before we completely take them down. Okay, here's a good example. See up here where we have the dead one that was taken off, and then down here you can see there's a new little baby coming on. So what you want to do is you want to cut right above that. See, and that's going to allow a new stem to pop up and some new blooms to come on. On this one here, I'm seeing a couple. There'll be a couple branches right here. So I'm going to cut right in between the dead stem. Not dead, but you know, the one that doesn't have a bloom on it anymore. See this baby one right here? See it just coming up in that leaf? That's going to be a new stem with a new flower. Off comes the top. So I'm going to go through and do that to this entire batch, and we'll have new daisies. Ta-da! Just like that, coming up all over it. Thanks for hanging out on my little tip and trick from Birdie. Thought I'd give you a tip and trick for roses. I don't have a reason for this, it's just what I've learned. Whenever your roses start getting spent, you need to clip them off. The more you do it, the more it'll regenerate blooms. But what I've learned, and I don't know why, is where you cut it is, you'll see this has a set of 3. They say go down to the next set of 5. See how this one has 5? So you want to cut it right here. Okay? I don't know why. That's just what I do. And then a new one will come on and it'll regenerate the blooms. Looks like I got a job here to do, doesn't it? Here we are at the hydrangeas. Some of you may be wondering, why are my hydrangeas not blue anymore? Instead, they're turning green. This one was actually purple. Well, I can tell you, there could be one of three reasons. Number one, it's not getting enough water, which is not the case here because this lady is the water queen. She loves to run her sprinklers. Number two is sometimes in the late season after they've pollinated, they just start giving out. And it does make the blooms start fading. They've given their all for pollination. Pollination is done. Now they're just ready to go kaput. Number three reason is you haven't got enough acid in the soil. We live in Kansas. There is hardly any acid in our soil. So a lot of times we have to add an acidic fertilizer. This could be one of two reasons. It could be because it's September and they just are ready to go kaput. And it could be because I haven't fertilized them in probably a month or two. They're all turning green. So I'm going to guess it's probably the fertilizer, because what's the chances of all of them doing it at the same time? I'm going to put some fertilizer on them. Why not? Because it can't hurt, right? They need the acid. If they come back, they come back. It'll be a great experiment. If they don't, we'll know it's end of season and they're just ready to go. There you go. Another tip from Birdie. Okay, check these out. I have no idea what they are. Homeowner brought back a start from family in Vermont. They have done phenomenal. They get very huge. They're totally probably ready to come down because as you can see down here at the bottom, where's my hand? Right here, see all this beautiful green plumage coming up? The top is just giving out. It's full of powdery mildew. It's just, you can see the difference in the color. I should really take those top stalks off, possibly get another round from the bottom. But the bees are loving the flowers so much, I just don't have the heart. Butterflies were all over them the other day. So we're going to give them a little longer because I'm afraid it'll get too chilly by the time new ones come up that the bees will have needed what they could get off of these. So sometimes you just have to follow your heart on as to whether take things down. You can very clearly see at the bottom how it's all beautiful green and the top is just giving out powdery mildew. But there's still a few on there wanting bees to come and enjoy. Okay, these are Veronica. You can see the new blooms down here. They start short and then they grow tall. What they do is they bloom from the bottom up. That one's about petered out. These over here, just about petered out. So you know when it gets to the top, like that one, and there's hardly nothing left, you've got to go ahead and cut it off. The more you cut this dead stuff off, the less time it'll spend putting energy into it, and it'll go ahead and regenerate another one. Deadheading, deadheading, it's very important. Goodness, I'm just full of it today, aren't I? These are mums. The rule I live by is, as soon as they start getting some good growth on them, you should cut them back at 4 inches from the top, all through the summer until July 4th. So just, I keep that in mind, 4 till the 4th. I cut them back. On the July 4th, I stop. That way, they will know by fall they can go ahead and bloom. Otherwise, they'll bloom early and your pizzazz will be over. Here it is, September. Looky here. We're full of buds. So they're right on time. The little saying seems to come true anyway in my practice. Try it next year. See what happens. Okay, let's talk about geraniums. These geraniums stopped blooming about a week ago, and I noticed that my customer had fertilized them, and I thought, what the heck, I usually do the fertilizing. So I asked her about it. She said they've just stopped blooming. So I started inspecting them. I don't know if you can see in this one the little black dots. These had budworms in them. See the little black dots in there? We won't see any worms because I sprayed them and killed the worms. We're just waiting for them to come back to life. But if you look down in the buds and you see either a little worm, little black dots that look like dirt, or little webbings, you'll know that your geraniums have budworms. What they do is they kill the bud and then it can't bloom. So, spray it. I love Bayer. I think it's called Bayer 3-in-1. That's B-A-Y-E-R. That's just my preference. It's just all the Bayer products have been foolproof for me. And if you tell me Monsanto owns them, I'm going to keel over, because I try not to buy any Monsanto products. While I'm talking, I'm just going to show you my beautiful spiral trees. I love trimming these always while listening to John Denver. Anyway, B-A-Y-E-R. I love the products. I don't buy Monsanto. I think it's called 3-in-1. It's a systemic bug killer, fungus killer, and something else. I don't know what. But when we get around front, I'll show you what the geraniums have done since I sprayed them up there. They have gone from this to, I will show you what they are doing in just a minute. This, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be keeping this held sideways. Dang it, I don't know if I have been, and I don't know what it's going to do if I don't. This may be a real cluster of a video. Anyway, here we are. These have been treated. They have bounced back. They have gone from no blooms to a lot of blooms. We now have healthy buds ready to open, nice and green, no sign of black worm poop. We are just excited that our remedy worked. Okay, well, here I am taking a quick break before I head back home. It's a Sunday morning. Just did a little spot in water for a customer who gets nervous about not all the spots getting hit. Sitting here enjoying beautifulness, because my yards look terrible. That's the job of a personal gardener. You make sure everyone else looks beautiful, and in the meantime, what is it? The cobbler's kids never have shoes. Yeah, the gardener lady always has weeds. So, I'm not fooling you. It is stinking hard work. But man, it's worth every minute of it when you can sit and look at all the beauty you help create in these beautiful homes that you know you'll never be able to afford. It's just a little bit of whimsy and wonder, and I love it. And thanks for joining me. I hope you at least get one little tip or trick out of this video, and have a great Sunday. God bless every one of you. Bye.